Hello, my name is Carx82 and welcome back to our GregTech New Horizons Season 2. Once again, I do want to thank all my followers and subscribers and our Patreons for supporting the channel. I do really appreciate that support. Said I do this in my spare time, and any sort of help is pretty amazing. So thank you again to my patrons. If you want to support the channel, the links are below in the description. I also have a link to my Discord server if you want to join my Discord server. And I have just been doing a little bit of stuff, not a whole lot, since we last recorded. I have upgraded our little setup here to use a super buffer. This was a suggestion. I don't use these super buffers very often, and they are like really cool actually. So if you don't know about these super buffers, they basically can handle, this one handles 256 stacks, and there is a smaller one. There is a chest buffer which is 27, but I just went ahead with the super buffer. Relatively easy. I did just do IV for the tier. If I wanted to go even faster, you could do higher. Looks like UHV is the highest. I believe that is 16 stacks every tick. I don't think it's just items. I think it's item stacks. So I have that, our interface directly on the super buffer, and when you place this down, you have to make sure you do. That's an arrow. It's a bit hard to see, but point the arrow where it needs to go. So this will automatically output into the neutronium compressor. And then on the back, I have a conveyor module pulling the items out to put back in the interface. So this is very, very quick. Well, it's as quick as 1 stack per tick, which at this point, for the amounts that we need, is pretty crazy. So if we remember how slow it was last episode, now, there we go. It does like 20 a second, as you can see. And then we could speed that up if we wanted to. But at this point, I think we're good. I also made a recipe for, not a recipe. I did upgrade our compressor. And I upgraded that to UV. And then I was kind of thinking, I don't know if I actually need this right now. I'm not going to change it or anything like that. Wasn't a problem. But yeah, the infinity block. And the reason I made a recipe for infinity blocks is because that is the next quest in the endgame chapter. The infinity blocks, and there is 2 recipes for that. One is the compressor recipe, and one is the implosion compressor. So we can see that takes UV. It's 15 seconds per block. The implosion compressor recipe is like nothing. But you know what? I'll probably just leave it for now. I'm not crafting up massive amounts of those at the moment. I'll probably just do a few at a time. Because if we need 64, I am quite short on what we need here. So yeah, I need to get my thing going again. I don't like voiding. I don't really like voiding stuff coming from our ore processors. It feels kind of silly that I'd be running 3 void miners for like just a handful of, like, I'm just voiding all this stuff, so it feels a bit funny. But like, so much of this stuff I just don't need. We're gonna need like, I keep doing that accidentally. Be right back. Okay, we are back from that crash. It's actually been a little while. as I have been doing just some random stuff around the base, trying to fix everything up. And I've run into a little bit of an issue, and I'm not entirely sure what is going on. Oh, I just realized I'm confusing. All right, I think I figured out what I was totally confusing this interface with this interface. This is the output from our macerator. And what I was finding, you can see some, I have this turned off at the moment. What I was finding was when I would craft up a macerator recipe for some of them, and you can see it somewhere. Yeah, so it tried to craft up iron dust, and it didn't work. And I think what was happening, and the same thing happened to lead dust and copper. Now I have, the way this is set up, I basically just output all the dust byproducts that we're getting. So not necessarily from this one, but for example, you know, any of the dust that we centrifuge, we're gonna get like just the regular dust from it, and I just output that directly into that system. And what I think is happening is our macerator is running. It would do like the 1,000 or whatever copper dust that it needed. It would output it into here, and then it would output into the main system using the ore dictionary, the dust right there. And what I think was happening was it wasn't registering. Oops, I went way too far there. I don't even know if what I'm saying is like makes sense. But what I think was happening, it was ending up like it wasn't registering that we had copper dust. Here, let's actually, like basically I had copper dust on there, iron dust was on there. So this thing was smelting all our copper dust up. Like right away. And I think for some reason the way we were doing it, it wasn't registering that it was getting copper. Or in this case, it didn't register it got iron dust, it just smelted it right away back into ingots, which is kind of weird, I thought. Like once it gets dumped in the regular main network, see, it's like, it's not registering the... Okay, now it seems to be registering it. I don't know. No, it looks like... Okay, see, I put 1,000 in there, but it only registered 200 and whatever, 52, before it smelted it all again. So I think that was causing issues with some of the recipes, yeah. So as we can see, it didn't recognize it. Which I thought as soon as it entered the A system, it would recognize that. So if I do it again, and I took it off here to be auto-smelted, it should recognize it. That's interesting. Alright. So why didn't that... Oh! I just realized what's happening. I just realized what's happening. That 1,000 that we're seeing in our main system, that is actually in here. But since I have added a storage bus on this, it's actually recognizing that we have it in there, and it's pulling that copper dust to smelt it out of this system before it gets outputted into the main system. Alright, so that makes a bit more sense. No wonder I was like, why did stuff all of a sudden break? It was working fine before. It's because I've added this. And the reason I added this storage bus was to get because this that we're getting from our bees, the Americium and the mysterious ore, we are getting from the combs, and that is actually in our main base. So I had to get them in this system to go through the process. So yeah, okay, that makes. I was kind of wondering, I'm like, how are we only getting? Like, that should have registered as soon as it went into the main network. But when I was looking at that, that wasn't actually in the main network. It was in this network. It was just seeing it. All right. What we're going to do is, I think, insert only. That might do it. Because I don't think we ever need to, we don't need to pull anything out of these drives through the storage bus. Obviously, we can fix this to work differently. But this just kind of... This is how we have our thing set up. Which is a whole lot of chaos under there. Alright, so that makes a bit more sense. No wonder I was like, why did this all of a sudden break? Yeah, it's because that... Alright, so what I was thinking I would actually do, and I may still do this, is that instead of outputting, like, the copper dust that we're getting from whatever. Like, when we process our copper ore, we might get, or like in this case, gold and nickel. Instead of smelting those in our main network, I may actually just have it go back into here. I don't know. This is still kind of like a work in progress. I just kind of updated it to use the subnet, but I didn't really, like, optimize it. So instead of like directly outputting all the byproducts into the main network, we'll actually deal with the byproducts in here. So possibly like send copper dust, silver dust into here to be smelted. Alright, so just kind of something to think about. But okay, so I think we got that done. What I am working on at the moment is the energy cluster. I'm just trying to get some ideas of what we need to work on, what we need to fix, what we need to upgrade, kind of thing. So I am working on a UV for the energy cluster, which is this one. Now, I've never crafted this up fully. I've only done the ZPM one, so now I'm trying to craft up a energy cluster. And this is going to be a little bit more expensive, because I'm pretty sure we're having to craft up 64. Yeah, I think we're crafting up 64 of those in the component assembly line. So, I mean, this is way more expensive than a energy cluster usually is, because we're going to get 64, but we only need 2 of that. So we're crafting up way more. But this kind of gives me a bit of an idea of where our bottlenecks are and what needs to be fixed. The Vulcanists probably need to break down into that. Now, the other thing that I probably want to deal with is Pyrotheum. I can do the comb, I guess. And Cryotheum. I believe we can just... Yeah, we can just centrifuge these for the dust directly instead of having like a setup that crafts them up, which, to be honest, these actually work really well. We don't go through, I mean, the thing's running right now and we're barely like using them. So this works fine. But if we do bees, we can replace these totally. So there are lots of little upgrades here and there, but I do think we probably should start thinking about getting more of these. Also, I need to fix our radon. It's not going in there fast enough. Is that smelted? No, I was like, I know we have a lot of ingots. I'm kind of curious, what is the bottleneck? Is it the mixer? I don't know. Like, because we need 17,000. Like, what is the bottleneck with the niobium, titanium, yttrium? Must be something. All right, so I'm just going to keep working on this and, yeah, just kind of upgrading everything and see where we can go. The next three big multi-blocks are the space elevator, plasma forge, and the quantum force transformer. I think these are the... I mean, this is a long way out, but this is kind of my goals at the moment we're working towards. All right, we are back, and I just realized as I was kind of messing around with the Vulcanus that it just kind of dawned on me that we are using batch mode, which instead of doing like one ingot at a time, it does as many as possible or something like that. But then it takes longer for the craft. It's good for things that smelt less or faster than one per tick, because then you're kind of like losing speed. And I realized that the old 32, the quad input hatch that could only do the 32 buckets, was actually gating the Vulcanus. So it was crafting up 32. I realized it was doing trinium, and I realized it was only doing 32 ingots at a time. And I ended up switching it out for the much larger one, and it started doing 192 ingots. And we can see it's actually now, oops, now it's actually not being able to, it can't keep up with the freezer can't keep up with the thing anymore. So I just thought that was, if you're using batch mode, keep in mind that the amount of fluid in your hatches, see, it just pulled almost, I think it pulled 512 right there. I don't know what it was, I don't know what it's crafting, but it was like empty. It pulled like the whole amount all at once. I can throw some more acceleration cards in there, but I'm going to do the hyper acceleration cards. We got oxygen, nitrogen, and radon. I just can't smelt up more at the moment because our Vulcanus it's chugging along. So I will, once that is done, I will fix that to have as many as possible. I also got rid of the ender covers. I love the ender covers, but they really they don't keep up. Also, I'm fully aware that I need more Vulcanus. It's crazy that I only have one at this point when I'm trying to craft this much stuff up. But yeah, so I'm just kind of letting the world run. And I'm about to go make dinner, and we will come back, and hopefully by then we will see where we are at. Also, like I said before, we are crafting up way more than we actually need because of the 64 field gens that we are crafting up when we only need 2 of each, or 2 of these, and I think, was it 16 of these? So we're definitely crafting up more ZPMs. I guess field generators are not crafting up as much, but yeah. So like I said, gonna let that just kind of do its thing, smelt all this stuff up. There we go, it caught back up. I may actually change this to a super bus. It doesn't really matter though, to be honest, because it's not going through it faster than we're filling it up, and the ingots are just going into the A system, the hot ingots, so it doesn't really need to be, like, I don't need 4,000 ingots in the input bus. It doesn't really matter. I could even throw a... Oh, no, I have enough. Yeah, so there we go. We can see 256, 300. That's how many... That's how much it just did in that 99 second. I think it did 512, yeah. I think it did 512 ingots right there. Okay, we are back, and we are just chugging along here with our energy cluster, the UV one, our first energy cluster. And I've noticed there are a couple backlogs here, at least for all these field generators that we're crafting up. One of them is the elite circuit boards and the other is the crystal processors. At this point, the crystal processors are just a bit of a slow recipe because we are using the SOCs. So it is a 30-second recipe at UV as opposed to a 60-second recipe at LUV. So it's just a bit slower. So eventually we're going to have to... We'll overclock it to UHV at some point. I'm not going to worry about it right now. We'll just let the world tick and create those things. Now the other thing is our PCB. I was like, oh, that's 22 seconds. I could speed that up. Let's overclock it. So I paused it and then went and upgraded to UV energy hatch. Came back, turned it back on, and it was the exact same processing time. And it is then that I totally had forgotten that if we want to do this, we actually need a liquid cooling. So we need to craft up a liquid cooling tower. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Because looking at the recipe, we need domestic steel, not a problem. Alloy, not a problem. Engine intake, not a problem. Tungsten steel pipe casing, not a problem. And then we got this reinforced photolithography framework thing. And I just went to check that and I was like, oh, that's right. We need infinity. Well, we just crafted up infinity. So, I feel like that means it's a good time to get this going. So I am crafting up the lithium frames or whatever they are. Not in lithium. Infinity. So we're crafting that up. There's 10. We're doing 11 there for the 21 of these that we need. And then we'll build the liquid cooling. I believe it goes on the back. Somewhere. Or does it go to the side? I don't remember. I did leave room for it. So that I'm going to do. Since these don't require any circuits of any kind, I'm going to craft everything up for the cooling tower, and we will get that going and overclock our things. This is just going to run as I'm doing other stuff. But yeah, I think that'll be cool if we get that overclocking, because yeah, we need 4,000 and that is 22 seconds per 15, or I don't know how many we're doing at a time, but yeah, it's pretty slow. So let's do that and we'll be right back. And that didn't take like any time at all, actually. That was like super quick. So I think we're gonna pause this and then we will do the whatchamacallit, the blueprints or whatever. Okay, so there we go. Let's do, what was it? Configuration menu, liquid cooling. Can't remember how to get it to show up. Oh, that's right. We do... Where did I put the... I lost it. Where did it go? Oh, right here. I totally didn't see that. Okay. Did I do that? Liquid cooling, the bio chamber we have. Yeah. Right click. Okay, so there we go. There is this. I do kind of want it farther back, to be honest. ZX. Which one are we on? That's Z. -6. You need it more. -9. Okay, there we go. I think that's where I want it. Because I need to access these hatches sometimes, because this is the only place we can put like sulfuric acid and that, so I don't want that right up above it. Alright. Is that a hatch? I was kind of wondering, because it didn't mention we needed a hatch. Also, I kind of want to change the config on when this thing disappears. Input bus, have energy edge. What did that say? It's a 2. I think that's a thing. Let me build this. Well, as I place it in the complete wrong spot. Oh, we might be able to actually just have it build it, right? I don't know if it would actually work. No, it doesn't. Yeah, there might be a way to get it to build it, but I don't think it... No, it did build the biochamber, didn't it? Oh well. Let me just build it manually. It's just a block. I mean, this isn't difficult. So there we go. Got it crafted up. Now, the only thing I'm a little unsure about, if we do the thing, it shows that, and it doesn't, there is no like hint 2 block. It doesn't say. If we look at that, yeah, like it doesn't say what the hint 2 block is. I'm assuming that is an input hatch for the liquid, since it's liquid cooling, but we have like a leftover framework casing, so I'm not sure, and it doesn't seem to be forming. I don't know if it would actually change. Usually they do, though. So I'm almost wondering... Does the hatch go over here? See, that doesn't feel like it's forming, does it? But it's like purposely different than these. Like those show... I guess I should just try it, but... Like those are definitely different. So that tells me it's supposed to be a different block, but I don't know. We'll do that. Let's... I can always do one here. See, that's a 1. So it's like, that is supposed to be an input hatch or an input bus or something. Whereas the other one doesn't actually show. Yeah, you can tell. It is showing an incomplete structure, though. Let's put this back. I still feel like this is supposed to be... This is like a cooling tower. Like, shouldn't we be inserting cooling into it? Like, I don't know. See that? Uh-oh, we're back to incomplete structure. Does it have to be... Wait, it doesn't have to be tier 2, does it? For the liquid cooling? I don't think so. Tier 2 and 3 allow parallel? Yeah. Alright, let me try this and see if we can get it working, because now it's saying incomplete structure. I broke it! broke it, everyone. Alright. That took entirely way too long to figure out. I could not get it to auto-place the cooling tower, no matter what I did. And I still have an extra framework casing. So, don't know. I feel like maybe I should break the whole thing down and redo it. Because, yeah, I couldn't get it to do that. So what I did was break the controller, break one block from the PCB thing, and then set the upgrades, and then it placed the block for that, and it placed the blocks for this and the hatch. So I don't know. But we still, like I said, we still have an extra one of these, which is a bit concerning. We'll try this yet again. And we'll see if that actually works. I don't know, I feel like it's not going to. I believe when it placed the one framework casing, I broke this one. I think it pulled from my AA system, that's why I have an extra one there, but I definitely have an extra one of these. Alright, well, we give it a go. Gonna go. Oh, well now it's working. I guess I didn't really need a big hatch for that. Alright, well there we go. We got it down to 5 seconds. That's quite a bit quicker than before. Okay, so if you need to place the cooling tower, break the controller, and you might need to break the original block. That's probably what it was doing. Now that I'm thinking about it, since I didn't replace the controller, it was probably looking at this and it's like, oh, this is done. And then it was multi-block complete. But if you broke that, then it was checking the whole thing. All right, cool. So there we go. All right, well, you only need 20 of these, so you don't need 21. So slightly annoying, but okay, there we go. We got our PCB factory up. All right. Fortunately, we are running out of time here. I'm going to continue letting the world run. I'm going to keep crafting up some of the stuff I want to upgrade here. Probably do I'm probably going to do a Vulcanus, at least 2 of them, and get the bees going. We're going to need more of these, obviously. But in the meantime, I think we'll at least do double. And then, yeah, we will see what we're going. So, like I said, I think we're kind of working towards this space elevator is the next big multi-block. Anyway, that's going to be for today. So thanks for watching, and have a good one.